My oh my, it sure is expensive to live in California.
Xbox,
Twitter, Uber,
Postmates,
Netflix, MoviePass,
Google, Facebook, eBay,
DoorDash,
Apple, Amazon,
Airbnb.
The Apptrepreneur. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur, and I want to begin this video before we begin talking about it by saying that I want you to pay attention to the big question mark in the title. This is purely speculation. However, I want to report a little bit of news and what I think it actually means for Uber. And yes, I'm going to be throwing in my own speculation. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's fine. You know, I can't see the future, but I'm just looking at this and I'm thinking like, wow, that's really, really interesting. And so what is that? Well, we'll get to that after we have a word from our sponsors. Times are changing for gig workers and the gig economy, and there are a lot more gigs from a lot more companies than there used to be. That's why when people ask me where they can go to find resources for the gig economy, I recommend gigworker.com. At this site, you can see what other gig workers are doing and discover better opportunities from industries, companies, resources, and even a forum where you can talk with other people in the gig economy. Gigworker.com is a great resource site whether you work for Uber, Lyft, Postmates, DoorDash, TaxRabbit, Thumbtack, Upwork, whatever. There's a gig for you and there's a forum for you on gigworker.com. Gigworker.com. For all your gigs. Now, one of my videos I showed previously, I said something to this effect. So, you know what? Hey, Uber, since you're soliciting advice to cut costs, I'm going to offer one itsy-bitsy piece of advice. Move out of San Francisco. Seriously, move out of San Francisco, go to Kentucky, Delaware, Tennessee, Minnesota, Maine, Colorado. Go somewhere that's not necessarily in the middle of nowhere, but is discreetly located. Bring industry to a town or somewhere that wants to populate a little bit more. You will save millions of dollars in rent. And hey, you might even be able to get away with paying your engineers and stuff like $50,000 less a year, because $150,000 will go. Heck, they could just buy their house right out after the first year's salary working for you somewhere else. And it looks like maybe they took my advice, or maybe they were thinking about it internally all along, because according to this article from Chicago Tribune, Uber confirms it's moving to massive space in the old post office. And this is Chicago Tribune. This is not Wikipedia. This is not some fake news organization. So this is pretty legitimate. Now, the article doesn't exactly say what they're going to use it for, but I've got some suspicions. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So Uber Technologies has signed a 10-year lease for a massive amount of office space at the old post office, giving it room for thousands of employees. Uber on Monday confirmed it will occupy the 463,000 square feet, becoming the building's largest tenant. The Tribune reported in May that the California-based technology company was negotiating a move to the post office site. The deal is the largest office lease signed in downtown Chicago this year and one of the largest in Chicago in recent years. Not including renewals or extensions of existing office spaces, Uber's deal is the fourth largest in the past 5 years, according to CBRE. Uber is set to start construction on its new space in the old post office next spring. It is unclear how many employees will ultimately work there. Uber is and we've got like an ad blocking me. Uber is excited to deepen its roots in Chicago, the company spokesperson Kelly Quinn said in a statement. The city continues to attract the top talent that Uber needs to continue to thrive, and we remain committed to working together to have a positive impact on the local environment. Pay attention to that comment. The city continues to attract the top talent that Uber needs to continue to thrive, because that is what is going to lead me to my suspicion on what this building is actually for. The company's finalized deal gives developers 601 West Coast an anchor for its ongoing $800 million plus redevelopment of the 2.8 million square foot former post office on the Chicago River at 433 West Van Buren Street. Uber's lease is more than double the next largest space. Deerfield-based Walgreens in June 2018 announced plans to lease 200,000 square feet, saying it planned to move 1,800 suburban and downtown workers into the space. So Walgreens is even moving there. Other tenants include Ferrara Candy, Home Chef, the Chicago Metropolitan Area Agency for Planning, and ad firm Abelson Taylor. The first tenants will start moving in this fall. So, here's the thing. What is this for? In my opinion, I think, this is a speculation. Again, this is a prediction. I could be wrong. So, if I am wrong, you know, the exposed videos will be very, very funny to watch. However, what is going on right now is I think Uber is getting out of San Francisco. Personally, that's what I think. And I suspect this for a few reasons. First of all, Uber does need to cut costs. However, they also need to show they are expanding. And they keep posting losses, and as I said in previous videos, San Francisco is wildly expensive. But why do a lot of companies go to places like San Francisco and Silicon Valley? Well, because frankly, there's a lot of stuff there. I mean, it's kind of this thing where it's like if you want to attract top talent, you've got to go somewhere that you got to go somewhere that has a lot of things like, you know, movie theaters, playhouses, annual parades, street vendors, hot dogs, like cart hot dogs are the best. And you know, so why would you want to go to like Kentucky or you want to go to Colorado? They don't have those things. You're going to go to San Francisco or Silicon Valley. However, Chicago has a lot of those things too. And Chicago is really nice. And it has like a hit movie named after it, and rent and everything is a lot cheaper over there, especially when it comes to companies. So, hey, how can you keep that talent to move somewhere else? Well, you go someplace like Chicago. And with this Chicago building, they will have a much bigger building than they do in San Francisco. So they are expanding, but they are also saving money and they are retaining their talent. You see where I'm going with this? Chicago is a great strategic move for Uber because it kind of hides the fact that they're trying to save money, but it also shows that they're retaining talent and they are moving up in the world, so to speak. Also, it should be noted, I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but Chicago is one of the very few markets where most drivers seem to make pretty good money. So, in another strange way, you have your most vocal, supportive drivers in Chicago for the most part. So yeah, Chicago makes perfect sense. Let's continue this for a little bit longer. Uber's Chicago office is already its second largest outside of its San Francisco headquarters. Chicago is home to Uber Freight, the company's fastest growing business unit. And that might be another reason. They're home of Uber Freight. The Tribune reported in March that the company planned to hire hundreds of employees throughout the year for its freight unit, which connects truck drivers with shippers. Uber told the Tribune that the company employed more than 1,000 people in Chicago. Uber was looking for a space where it could consolidate its Uber Freight workers in the city with others it employs for its Uber Ride and Uber Eats business. What does others for Uber Ride and Uber Eats business mean? Well, I think people from San Francisco, personally. Currently, Uber Freight's headquarters are at 225 W Randolph Street. Other Uber businesses are at 11 North Canal Street. Combined, that's about 185,000 square feet of Chicago office space. Uber's expansion in Chicago has been rapid, starting with a 12,000 square foot space in Fulton Market just 5 years ago. But the company has faced some hitches. It went public in May, but is unprofitable and has faced questions about whether it can turn a profit. Last month, the New York Times reported that Uber laid off about 1/3 of its marketing team from offices around the world. We already know all that. Anyway, late last year, there were two new approximately 500,000 square foot leases to anchor new office buildings in downtown Chicago. San Francisco-based Salesforce's deal for the last of 3 planned towers on the Wolf Point site on the Chicago River, and Toronto-based BMO Financial Group's commitment to tower adjacent at Union Square. In 2017, Bank of America signed a nearly 500,000 square foot lease to anchor an office skyscraper now under construction on the river at 110 North Wacker Drive. So yeah, a lot of companies are going to Chicago. I'm definitely thinking Chicago might be one of these places that these companies start to flock to, as the rents are definitely a lot cheaper. You can still build things there. There's not a lot of space you can build in San Francisco or LA. We're pretty much tapped out on that space there. And again, it's a nice city. It's a nice city. It's got museums, it's got theaters, it's got Broadway productions. I mean, Chicago is really, really nice. So, I mean, there's a reason why some people. Oh yeah, and the deep dish pizza. I mean, granted, I'm not a huge fan of Chicago-style deep dish pizza. I'm more of a New York-style pizza kind of person. But hey, you know, a lot of people do like the Chicago-style deep dish pizza, and it is there, and it is undeniably a huge draw for a lot of workers. Now, again, this is all purely speculation. Uber has not made any announcements that they're leaving San Francisco, and everything that they said, they're talking about, hey, we want to expand. And yeah, as this article pointed out, this is the second biggest building outside of the San Francisco offices. So it would be a little smaller than the San Francisco office, but what it would save would be monumental. And here's the thing, if Uber is stressed about saving money, like we did the balloon story recently, and they were so excited that they saved thousands of dollars on balloons, $200,000. And this news article said so much. First of all, that they were so wasteful, they were spending $200,000 on balloon. But secondly, that they were looking at every little thing to save money, and that included balloons. And that third, they were excited about saving $200,000 when they had lost billions of dollars, which wouldn't have made much of a difference. So if they were that excited about saving thousands of dollars on balloons, think of how much more excited they will be if they can save millions of dollars on real estate and still operate the way they are supposed to operate. Like, mark my word. Well, maybe not mark my words. Again, I don't know for sure, but I strongly suspect that Uber will be moving to the Chicago offices and out of San Francisco by the time this is completed. I guess we will find out in a couple of years if I am wrong. And in the meantime, what do all of you folks think about this? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I would love to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, of course, but even as little as $1 a month goes a long way to helping the channel run smoothly, and you get access to my Patreon's exclusive blog. Also, if gas prices get you just a little down, check out the Get Upside app below. It's totally free, but you get cash back on every gas purchase. If you want more content from me that's not rideshare related, check us out at Apptrepreneur Hangouts on Facebook. Check out my other channels at Kevin T. Rodriguez, the Apptrepreneur Vlogs, and Autograph Hound. And finally, if you want to talk to me or other fellow rideshare drivers, check us out on Facebook at the Apptrepreneur Hangouts on Facebook. Yeah, there you go. And as always, blame responsibly. Have a good one.